Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the post-comfort break session of the India Investment Conclave. The topic is preferred offshore hubs for Indians. Now, offshore hubs, of course, were sort of came into being post-Second World War as various governments tried to put their ill-gotten gains offshore, and it was all about tax evasion and money laundering. The new breed of offshore havens are now transparent and regulated and legitimate vehicles for investment, or are they? But our panel will tell us all about that. Over half of the world's assets are estimated to be in offshore hubs. So we're going to talk about Mauritius versus other jurisdictions, named particularly Channel Islands. Battle, I went on honeymoon in Mauritius, so I know who I'm going for there. Inbound structures to invest in, how you square it up with your own tax authorities, how do you choose your offshore hub?
What I'm going to look at is really avoiding conflict and litigation with HMRC if possible. Planning can be regarded as aggressive if, quite literally, if you use off-the-shelf avoidance schemes. Now, so many of the things that I've litigated recently have been step-by-step avoidance schemes, such as working wheels. These things are aggressive. These things are regarded by the revenue as aggressive, expect to be looked into. Where the figures involved are large is also another red flag feature. Another is where the difference between a tax charge and no tax charge depends on the residence or domicile of either the non-resident entity or the putative non-resident entity or the domicile or residence of the individual taxpayer. So when that is the only determinant between there being a tax charge and not being a tax charge, it's going to be regarded as somewhat red flaggable, i.e. something that is worth looking into.
People have yet not brewed up to the concept of wealth planning, succession planning. Primary reasons, what we have been discussing since morning also. One, it's a very sensitive topic within families to start a discussion around this subject also. And two, there's no sense of urgency. When you say no sense of urgency, why? India at this point of time has no inheritance tax. There is a buzz that it will be coming, and probably families are therefore planning to, or actually have already started planning around it. But what goes into planning? Importantly, I think asset protection from creditors, from business risks, enabling asset transfers between generations, governance, which is family policies, and flexibility to changing circumstances, including things like divorce, adding new family members, change of domicile of a current family member, and all these factors.
Mauritius has been the largest provider of FDI into India for the past decade or so, largely based on residency, double taxation provisions. What I'm trying to go and put today is how Mauritius is moving away from a tax treaty jurisdiction to a regional financial center and ultimately to an international financial center. For the past 3 years, there has been a very concerted effort by Mauritius, the government and the private sector in general, to position itself as the hub for Africa. And I'm sure that all of you know that China makes a lot of noises, but India consistently in the past 3-4 years has been very close in terms of FDI into Africa. But there's not much news about that. And most of this FDI into Africa has actually flown through Mauritius.
What I'm going to talk you through very quickly is the things that you should look for in a finance center that you want to trust your clients or your own money to. And the points I'm going to make will apply to all finance centres. I'm simply using the Isle of Man, A, because my family have lived there for several hundred years, so I'm slightly biased, but B, because I don't actually want to criticise any other jurisdictions. But all the points I'm going to make will actually apply to all finance centres. Does your finance centre have excellent communications? Will your computer be able to talk to your advisor's computers? Will they be able to talk to you? Are they going to have a hurricane, which means that for 2 weeks you can't talk to them and you don't know what's happening? Are they close enough to get to where they can get real advice if the local advice isn't sufficient? Do they have a stable government? Would you set up your client's money in the Crimea? There are other jurisdictions which similarly have problems. Has the economy of your jurisdiction got a track record? Has it got consistent growth? Did it go into recession? What are the finances behind the government like? Can they afford to weather the storm which is coming? Will they come out the other side of it, or will they be a dinosaur? Some of these jurisdictions will fly. They will become birds, and they will be here forever, hopefully. But some of them won't make it.